So, after all this time, I finally accomplished E6 Saber. Now you're probably asking, at what cost? Well, the title of this video is not a lie. No Evernight, no Ceredra, no Hyacelines, no Hyacine, no Fanon, no Casterus, no Cypher, no Anaxa, no Mighty, no Tribi, no Aglaya, not even Herta, and these were prior to that. But basically, yeah, ever since 3.0 I've been saving, ever since even 2.x I've been saving, obviously except for Saber, right? And I did not expect for Saber to have her banner last as long as it has now. It's still going, and it's going to continue even in the next patch. But why did I do this? What was the point? What happened? Well, the truth is, not every region is for everybody, and I certainly did not like Ampherous. Going into it, I already knew I wasn't going to like it. Just the whole vibe and theme of it, I knew I wasn't going to be into it, and I was right. The characters, that kind of bounced off the fact that I didn't really care for the entire region, and I actually did go for Herta, but I lost to Julliangg. Go figure. But she's also not even from Ampherous anyways. But the point is, I had an agenda, and I just said, I'm going to stick with it. I wanted to see exactly how difficult endgame would be for me if I didn't have any of the characters that Haya was trying to sell to you to complete the endgame, right? So with all the shilling and all of the basically pull this character to beat this bosses, I just wanted to see what it would be like if I didn't have any of that. And honestly, I'd say I got through 95% of the endgame modes. There was one MOC I think I couldn't quite do. It was the first time the Flame Reaver was here. I was like struggling to figure out something out on that one. But besides that, the two teams I would use prior to Saber's release was Feijiao. So I would just use follow up, and that was still kind of hot at the time. So I was getting through whatever with this, and then I was using Rappa Super Break. So these are my two teams. It did get kind of monotonous because it's just the same thing every single time, and we did get a free E1 for Ron May as well from the free character selection, so that did help. But those are my two teams that I was running ever since 3.0 to 3.4. It wasn't until Saber came out until I actually went and picked her up and made her work. We did get an E1 Ron May. Well, I did. You know, if you didn't have Ron May, you got a free Ron May, the character. From that one time, they gave us a free 5-star selector between Ron May and Luocha. So I picked Ron May E1. But the pulls on Saber actually didn't start too well, but then it got a lot better. I had a rough start with Himiko at 81 pity. So that kind of sucked because I was excited for the banner. I was excited for Saber. And I went into the banner with the 70,000 J's I had saved up just to lose the first one at 81 pity. I was like, oh. But then the guarantee at 76 for Saber, the win at 71 for Saber, the early 41 win for Saber. Now I switched over to Archer because I wanted to have E1, but that could have been another Saber. It could have been. And it was a very early 24 Archer, but that was Archer. Got Saber again at 78. I got my first Zila for my loss. And then I got another early Saber at 30. Another one at 79. And then another early loss for Himiko. And then the exact same pity early at 15 for Saber. So in total, you can see 588 wishes. So it just goes to show you don't really have to spend a dime if you wanted to get E6, because you're looking at it right here. But the thing is, you know, I was saving ever since like 2.7 or so. You know what I mean? So, or 2.6. Yeah, I pulled Fugue, but I still had a lot of J's left over. The point is, I was saving for a long time, right? And every single pull after Saber had came out was going into Saber. So, and it's version 3.6 right now. So literally over the course of like almost 10 patches, I've been saving and putting resources into Saber. But yeah, it's been a long time. Now, who do I regret, if anybody, like not getting? From Ampherous, I should say. I knew Tribi was going to be kind of hard to skip because she was going to be a very powerful support. But at the same time, I figured she'll probably work better with the Ampherous characters. But this wasn't about picking and choosing. This was about keeping the agenda and the same energy to just be Ampherous free. Then I didn't care about My Day. Anaxa I think is pretty cool. So that was kind of a hard skip too. Not a hard skip, but hard to skip. Didn't care about Cypher. Despite all the hype around Casterus, I did not care about Casterus. All the special animations and global passive and whatnot, I was just neutral on it. Fanon, he's cool, but Hyacint's great and all. Hyacelene's. Ceridra, hot take, I feel like she could have been a 4-star character. I feel like Haya always tries to make these special or important characters 5 stars, but she don't have to. I mean, think about Ningguang from Genshin Impact, right? She's a very special figure within Liyue. Liyue Qixing, if I'm saying that correctly. She's very important in Liyue. She's a 4-star. Like, her stature would be of a 5-star character, you would think, right? But she's actually a 4-star. So you don't always have to have an important figure be a 5-star. They could be a 4-star. I feel like some of these guys could have been 4 stars. And then you have Evernight, which kind of goes back into the whole Ampherous cast sort of working together. So it's like, hey, if you don't have Casterus, then, why are you getting her? If you don't have other Remembrance characters, why are you getting Evernight? So a lot of connecting the dots, and if you don't have any dots to connect, it's kind of like, what's the point, I was actually kind of sad that she had to do with Ampherous, but I get why she was. When they actually announced they were going to do this a long time ago in 2024, I didn't really have any excitement at all because I didn't actually see Fate yet. I never saw the show. And when I saw this, I said, you know what? I'm going to watch as much Fate as possible before the collab happens. Now, it did work in terms of building up the hype for the characters. But the actual story that took place for the collab in Star Rail, yeah, no, that it really didn't have much to do with the actual story of Fate Stay Night UBW. But I mean, it was funny, I'll give you that. It was funny, like a laughing stock, like laughing and pointing at it, like the whole Britain thing. But it's just ID's Lizzie Eye. It was like, really? But and then everybody was muted because that's how they wrote the story. It was like Dr. Rekka or Mr. Rekka, and they couldn't talk because they were muted. It's just kind of like a laughing stock. But in the end, was it worth it? I say so because I like the character Saber. I like the show. I like the Fate Stay Night, like the OG one. So that really, after you finish that season, you like Saber, Obviously, the later versions, it's more towards Arene, but I like Saber. You know what I mean? So I kind of just did what people always say, right? Pull for what you like. So, pretty much just kept pulling for Saber the whole time. The build is not even all that good. And you don't even feel Saber's cons. You feel a little bit E1, E2. But obviously 3 and 5 are just the talent level ups, and then 4 is just more wind res pen. So you feel that a little bit. But honestly, I was struggling to get through the heavily shield content. Like that one boss, Pollux, is it? I think his name is? Yeah. The one that's like for casters, is like shield for casters. That one could be kind of a pain, even with E5 Saber. It wasn't until I actually got the 6th one. It was like, okay, well now she's freaking blasting through pure fiction. She's blasting through whatever it is, But it just goes to show that whatever Haya wants you to pull, obviously it's going to work best, as always, right? And an E6 character should be pretty freaking good, right? If it's E6. So I hope this could last a while. I really do. But It's cool though. Like doing the double alt after every 3 alts is pretty cool. So APOC, for example, if this is an E6 clear down here, look how close it is. So, you know what I mean? It's really not, she's not made for a boss like this, obviously. Like, you know the deal, right? You know who this is for. So that was kind of like skill issue for sure. So it could be better, but I was like, wow. Wow. Pure Fiction, look at the scores. So 20,000, I tried a Firefly. This is like the first time trying it. Firefly, 20,000. And I was like, ooh, it's not looking too good. Then I believe I had 25,000 with Saber. And then I tried the second half again after getting E6. And then it was, she killed everybody. It was, you know, 40K. So I was like, okay, well, now I know that's one side of Pure Fiction taken care of pretty much, you know, going forward. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it yet. Floor 12 was actually Lygus. It's going to reset very, very soon at the time of this recording. But he actually wasn't terrible. I actually had more of a struggle on the first half. But obviously with E6, she just won cycles, you know. She's just slam, 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 Excalibur, 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 and then he's just gone. So it's pretty cool. But it's not as cool because I've been playing Saber so much already. So it's just seeing her get stronger, but the same animations and stuff. So was it worth it? For me, yes. I would have rather got all the Saber cons or Eidolons than get the Ampherous characters, because I just didn't like Ampherous. But that's my rant. She's pretty strong, obviously, as she probably should be at E6. But now I know when Saber goes away, maybe at one point in time, possibly, these will all be here. So hopefully I like the next region we enter. And I believe Cyrene is the last character that is going to be Ampherous related for now, because we're getting the Dahlia next time. But that'll be all for me. That was my little rant, or I don't even know. I will catch you guys in the next one.